They had ways of dealing with sin. Rocks. Remember when they brought her in? They threw her to the dirt and gathered around her with rocks in their hands. Clothes, if she had any, had been torn off. Tears spilled into the dirt in shame or in anger. I mean, where was the man? Was she his heart's love, or was she just an afternoon's activity? No one knows for sure, but one thing was certain. He wasn't there. She was alone, and they would be on her. They, the self-appointed upholders of moral rightness. They, the super-religious, powerful pillars of the assembly, armed with their bludgeoning hypocrisy and their worked-up indignation. She was in trouble. She had sinned, descending her into a circle full of angry religious people with rocks in their hands. Ever been there? Interesting thing about throwing rocks, especially when you throw them really hard, kind of feels good. Sort of a release. Like you've done your part to rid the world of that sin. You take all of it and you put it on you. You can't do that. You were wrong. That was bad. There, I told her exactly what I think of that sin, and now I'm just going to cast it away from myself. The problem with that is, rocks don't hit sin. Rocks hit people.
Remember the scene in Forrest Gump where Jenny goes back to her childhood home. She stares at the old shack where her dad, her trusted dad, would come to her bed at night and use her like a trash receptacle. She stares at the old shack, picks up a rock, throws it out of the house and breaks a window. She stares, tears start to sting. She picks up another rock and she throws it. Another, clinging and crying until she just collapses. Quietly, and in his simple way, Forrest pronounces, sometimes there just aren't enough rocks. There aren't. Jenny was hurling that rock at the right thing. Sin. Dark. The blackness that overcomes hearts and makes us unrecognizable as human beings. And the thing is, there aren't enough rocks in all the world to beat the sin out because it is in us. And that thing that we want to beat out, the rocks has never come out yet.
So one man stepped out of the crowd and he began to scribble in the dirt. He somehow told a crowd of people that they couldn't beat the sin out of her, and he wasn't going to let them try just so that they could feel better. They could kill her. It was within the law for them to do that, but it wouldn't solve the bigger problem. And he came to solve the bigger problem so that we wouldn't have to continue to try with our pathetic little rocks. But we won't put our rocks down.
Women can be the worst. A group of teenagers gets killed on a Friday night and we lob our rocks.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Hold on. They shouldn't have been drinking and driving. Are you guys serious right now? No. They shouldn't have been doing that. But does that ease the pain and the guilt that their mothers feel every single day of their lives now? No, it doesn't. A young girl gets raped leaving a party one night. Excuse me. So she shouldn't have, did you see the short skirt that she was wearing? She deserves exactly what she got. Go on then. Drag them into the circle. Throw your rock.
You know, nobody really knows what that man was scribbling in the dirt that day. I wonder if he was writing down the names of the men in the crowd that she was loved with. Some people say that he was just tracing patterns and designs over and over again in the sand, giving them a chance for their anger to diminish. Whatever he wrote, he backed it up with these words: "Let whoever among you who is without blackness be the first to step forward and throw the rock." Silence. In that silence, he saved us all. He leveled the playing field. He gave, for those of us who have made some of the worst decisions in our lives, a place where we could be broken but not destroyed. Giving us an image that he will stand in between us and them. And for those of us who feel like we have reason and we have right to throw our rock, he gave us a place where we can choose love instead. And that is a drop your rock moment.
They may come at different times for each of us. You could be running into the circle, ready to throw your rock, and then you pause right at the edge. Because suddenly the person in the center has a face and eyes that someone you recognize.
Like when your son comes to you and tells you that he's gay, or your best friend confesses in agony that she's having an affair, or when your sister tearfully describes an abortion.
And maybe the anger comes first. And your teeth clench, and your grip on the rock tightens. You want to throw it. You want to tell them exactly what you think of that sin. Beat it out of them. But you can't. And as the tears fall, your grip on the rock tightens, your fingers loosen, and you realize that you can drop the rock. Listen to that time.
I wonder how she must have felt that day when Jesus stepped between her and the crowd at church. Hunched over, waiting to feel the pain of those rocks. And then, suddenly, hearing them drop, one by one, by one, by one.
Have you ever told a friend something you've done terribly wrong, and then emotionally hunched over, waiting for their stone-cold words of judgment to hit?
But instead, you with a bed of grace as your rock hits the ground.
Our tiny, pathetic little rocks will never change the world, only pockmark it with hate and fear.
You know, maybe that day when he was scribbling in the sand, what he wrote was, "I've got this one, because my rock is bigger than yours, and his rock is the only one that will